And so it is that in New Hampshire, we operate, shall we say, kindly at the local level. So the first thing that I want to suggest to you, and this sounds simplistic, but I want to think it through a little bit, is to set objectives and then set an expected outcome. Whatever your next event is, I would ask that you go back to your event committee and raise your objective. My experience is that most fundraising events set expectations below what they can raise. And I can assure you that if you up the expectation, you will achieve it. What is more precious in the summertime in New Hampshire than church suppers? I mean, it's the best lemon meringue pie, it's the best ham and beans ever going, isn't it? And they're all underpriced. Do you think that if you raise it from $8 to $9, the world won't come? They will. They will. 4 basic category of outcomes. Okay? And each of these expected outcomes then should drive us towards how it is we are going to execute and plan our event. So the first objective would be to build awareness. We are simply trying to bring attention to ourselves, but there's no financial component yet. Objective you might have is to educate. And how many people do you expect to come to that? Do you hope to come to that?
We usually get anywhere from 10 to 30.
Okay, would you raise your expectation?
Yes.
I hope you will, because if you raise that expectation and work just a little harder, a little broader, good for you, but good for you. And then the next of my 4 is an event to entertain. Simply to entertain. Simply to kick back, enjoy, relax, and have fun. And how many here run events where your mission is to entertain? And then finally, the reason that you came is when we host an event, run an event to make money. Okay? So now I will circle back to where I began. Up your goal. That most of us set our financial goals too low, and as a result, those are the goals we achieve. Do not be afraid to charge $6. And I know you weren't doing fundraising, but I'm just saying in that example, which I have in front of us, had you gone to $6, you still would have sold out. Going back to setting your objective, once you write down in a succinct way what it is you want to do, then at every committee meeting, the chairperson needs to keep everyone on task. Is this what we are trying to do? In a volunteer organization, you need to guard against extraneous conversation, and you need to bring focus. We all know volunteers are paid in glory, and that's a little harder to measure sometimes than if it's a financial compensation. But in the end, a volunteer probably is getting a more satisfactory reward than the person who was working simply for a paycheck. But in order to achieve that, when you're setting goals, you need to, and this would be a hospital kind of event. Do you have events that repeat?
Our community spelling bee.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And what age?
This is adults or any age.
Okay. Here's another point. After you conclude an event, it is incumbent on the committee, and especially the chairperson, to measure the results of your organization. The federal number for volunteer hours in New Hampshire carries a monetary value of about $20.80 an hour. Don't be afraid to not do it. Maybe the April ham and bean supper gets skipped. Gives everybody a, is too As we say up north, it's not the worth, it's the wanting. How much did people miss it? What happens when things go wrong? Well, if you took my hospitality law class, you would learn, and it would be on a quiz, so get your texts out. It would be on a quiz. It's not if it's going to happen, but it is about when it is going to happen. And remember that you're in New Hampshire, and so you're going to do it all by yourself. Thank you very much.
Say more about the $20.80.
Yes, that is, yes.
We use that to get the board to think about the value of volunteer time.
Well, that is precisely why I introduced the concept, is to take 40 hours or 20 hours of volunteer time.
Do something annually, to do something every other year. And so I'd be interested in your thoughts about the pros and cons of that kind of a concept.
I would highly recommend skipping a year once in a while. I would be opposed, I guess, or not for doing something every other year, because I think in a small community you would lose momentum. You would lose the community corporate memory. Do not forget to reward and thank yourselves. We're in New England. You don't have to feel guilty. If you go to Friendly's and have an ice cream soda and it's over $5 per person with tip, that's okay. And if there's any interest in that, you can go to the Speakers Bureau online at the University of New Hampshire. Thank you.
As you know, one of the foundations of any fundraising is marketing, and one of the foundations of any marketing is getting your name out there. So if you're a member of our chamber, you're entitled to put a 200-word thing in our monthly newsletter that goes out to 400 people every month for free. So it doesn't cost anything. Thank you all for coming. It's been great. Have a great day.